I am going to present making the shift to services, and this is a good case study in the animal health industry. As you can see, I have a couple of colleagues who help me to and support me to this through this research. First of all, I would like to start with the assumption and telling why this research was born and why it's important to learn from this. Basically, we consider as a series of different research within the shift to services, this has been one of the good case studies. Basically, because it compares how the UK and the US business units operate within the same company level. But before moving to that, I would like to explain why is this important. From the academic perspective, there has been a lot of research highlighting the importance and the need for adoption of services. We have seen that many organizations now, they are trying to move and incorporate and infuse services into their strategies. However, it has been a difficult journey for most of them, and as you can see, different other authors report similar findings. In finding new ways of integrating strategies, especially in product-oriented organizations, bring new challenges, therefore new ways of operating. Business model has been one of the theories has developed this idea of how to integrate this change into organizations. Nevertheless, the call in the transition to services is still a call, and we don't have structured theories to learn from. So this case study helps us to build up rationale and understanding into how is the transition and infusion of services into the main product-centric strategies of many organizations. Finally, there has been different people who has talked about that we need to refine and make more accessible the information in the shift to services to different organizations. So, moving to the next slide, the objective of this is a small research that supports a bigger project, but the objective of this case study was very much to explore what is the service journey, in this case in Zoetis. So the research approach, we target one single organization, Zoetis, and we follow up and analyze two different regions. One is operated in US and the other one in Europe. We interview different people and at different levels, as you can see, from directors of innovation to sales managers, product managers, etc. What we did, we analyzed the data, and you can identify all the analysis that Veronique, my direct colleague, and we did with the support of the rest of the team. And what we found, first of all, these are not things new, which are for organizations like Zoetis, but it is interesting to hear for other organizations. So services, how we map services very much is that the rationale started that they have been very good and very clever, very well recognized and well differentiated in the production of products for animals. However, there has been a call for adding services, and it's not just from the customers but also from competition. Competition started to include some services into the products as a way of selling more services, as a way of selling more products. So services become more important for Zoetis. And they starting from adding just a small add-ups to the main product and then starting to move to revenue generating services. And here in this slide we present some of the examples of revenue generating services at a different level. So we have from the more basic ones such as people first, business consultancy, service optimization, to the more complex one as a well-being. So if we move to the next slide talks about the approach of both regions. Across both the different regions, they follow this particularly an interesting approach to services that not many business-to-business companies use in the creation of service strategies in their organizations. How we operated, how we identify this is that in comparison to other companies, they follow and they start creating services, designing and creating services following a more opportunistic manner. So in the way that we saw Zoetis from UK, from Zoetis US, very much was an opportunistic. So they saw here the salesmen, they play an important role in identifying the opportunities and reporting back these opportunities back to the to the company. And for the purpose of other persons, I have to refer that Zoetis operates in a business-to-business environment for clarification purposes, as well as they operate in no, they don't have the direct link or the direct relationship with the end customer. This means the animal lover, but the direct relationship is with the veterinaries and the veterinaries clinics. So here it is important to consider in this value creation mechanism that there is a there is a no direct approach to the end customers, but the direct approach is to the um, intermediary value provider, which is the veterinary clinics. So, as I mentioned, the creation of services opportunistic is they try to revolutionize the different type of services that they start bringing to the market from very early on, and this means around more than 3.5 years ago where they started to build this capability. Initially their approach to service creation was modest. However, after 3.5 years we have seen a change and the approach is more revolutionary. So they see services as an incremental step to change to the total value proposition to sell more products until this moment on time. And this is a very much a sales oriented processes, and this is why I am going to focus in the sales journey. But before that, I am going to give you some other general findings. So what we identify is that when we carry this research, Veronica and I, we identify that there are different journeys happening at the same time. So it's not only one single journey unidimensional, but it was a multidimensional service journey. One is around a strategy, the other one is the service journey around the sales force. Another, the third one is around the design processes. The fourth one is the business consultancy, and the fifth one is around the service delivery process. And this is what happened in Zoetis in real life. As I mentioned, the hypothesis of many people and many academics is that we have one single journey. However, what we found in this interesting case is that there are 5 interrelated and interconnected journeys that fit into one solid objective. That is the creation of better and gooder value for the end customer. Let's move to the general findings. And here I am going to present the key findings across different regions. I bundled in around 3 different core elements and one extra one. Across the board, when we talk, there was this urgency that through the analysis of data that people and skills were very important. As I mentioned, analyzing all the 5 different journeys, people and skills were completely important. And here you can read, change for industrial field is key for everybody. And one of our interviewees said, nothing can we done without having the people on board. There is this rise of having champions, and champions, they are seen as key people who other peers can see them and learn, because they are people who can relate to them and they can work with them. And you can read some of the other quotes that the people say. And it's about acquiring these new skills and is very intensely trained. So the aim is to educate everybody in the team, to build this conversation with the customers, and to become part of the customers' conversation in everyday jobs. The next one is about culture, creating the culture and the communication. The journey is made of learnings from everybody and communicating back and forward. And this is across the two different regions. Was a complete consensus from all the interviewees. They said it is important that we communicate, we create these channels to communicate and give us feedback. And there is an initiative that they are trying to identify in US if communication has a relationship with the journey's success. And what Maurice Solomon found around this is that the better the communication that you get, the more communication that you get, and the better channels that you can build up, it will fit into the culture, and it will eventually fit up into the journey and the success of the company. And one part of the communication and the culture is how we are going to put services across all organization. And one key thing that differentiates this company from many other companies is that the acceptance that things might fail. And servitization, or the shift to services, is basically accepting that is a process of trial and error. But we are trying to do things better, and communicating with everybody to minimize the error, but accepting that things might fail, and the process of the recovery is more important than just pointing out what has failed in this shift to services journey. Now let's move to the next one, and the next interesting finding across the two regions is around the customer and the relationship with the customers. And this came out as a very interesting conversations. So the relationship with the customer change as it changes on time. So we identified that the people and the field forces that have longer relationship with the customers, they will eventually end up with higher and more competing services in implementing in the customer premises. As one of our interviewees put it on, customers are interested in having an in-depth conversation about how to solve their issues with the workforce. And this is important, is an important part for the salesman and the sales force to understand, take into consideration, and also feeding back this into the strategy of the organization. The next finding, and here I wanted to present the difference. So far we have seen the key findings that across the two regions. But here we wanted to point out the difference between US and Europe. And basically these are the key findings that we got. More findings can be read in the article that we have already published and is available in the website. So, US and Europe. We found that in US, the learning and development of the workforce was done through hiring contractors, or how they call it, coaches in the US. And here you can say an interesting quote of one of our interviewees said, "Help to coach the sales team is important, but but don't do the sales for them. By making them contractors, it made clear that the sales team that coaches them, they were not going to be there forever, and they need to learn by their own. Therefore, for these people, what we identified is that for them it was very clear to them that they will have some extra expertise from outside of SOATIS, but it was very much clear that this help will be for limited time, and they have to learn how to do it fast enough to get the feedback from the experts in order to improve the sales skills for selling services specifically. And for Europe, Europe takes a different approach. And here managers highlighted that they need to think more about in-house training, because they wanted this capability to be developed in-house and remains in-house. So, as you mentioned, As we mentioned before, there are two different approaches between US. US bring people externally. Europe try to build up this capability internally. However, the journeys are different. We might say that the journey from US perspective is a little bit more successful than in Europe, but we still don't know if the main factor is the approach from the salesman by bringing expert experts from outside of the company. So there are differences. We see that, as I mentioned, US is a little bit more successful than Europe, but still the factors that make this change successful hasn't been proved yet. If we move to the next one, sorry, here we have the process, the sales journey, and how sales are approached. So first of all, how is the sales journey coming? So they have from the top, and this is a global either for Europe and US. This is the process that we identify. So first of all, there has a clear goal that a service is coming out. The vision is clear that everybody has to contribute to services, and the sense of urgency is interested. It's very important to be as a key recipe element for this service journey. And this is linked and this fits to the link of the workforces to understand the link between the product and the service when they start selling and supporting the customers outside. An interesting part of this starting point of the journey is the incentives. And incentives are well established in US, whereas in Europe they are not as well established as in US. Once that we have done that, the service, the link of services, the sales force needs to have a clear understanding and how so it is help, and they have established teams in order to make this happen is storytelling and campaign telling. So it's very much creating this storytelling, and how they do it. There is a continuous coordination of the good practices, the bad practices, and communication of the workforce in a weekly basis through webinars, through conference calls, and they have these campaigns, internal campaigns that help the workforce to better understand the value and the importance of services. Differently, oh sorry, here the US hire more experts to help them and to help the workforce to understand how to sell and how to rationalize the services when they are setting these services for a customer. The next step after the sales force understand the value is to promote and get people excited, promote services across all the functions and get people excited. So here, one interesting part is that US has very well established structure and processes for that, as well as UK. I will say that what we have seen from the evidence is that the structure and processes from US is more dynamic in the way that is more refreshed continuously rather than the US, rather than the UK and Europe. The sales, once that you have promoted and get people excited, there has to have a lot of conversation and encourage these conversations for salesmen to have conversations and meet the customers to try this. At the same time that you are doing this, they are very much aware and they make aware that the strengths and limitations of the services to the customers, internally and externally. Externally to the customers, and what we mean customers is the veterinary clinics, and internally to make this clearly to their own organizations that there are limitations for selling and buying products. So this is the core aspect of the service journey for US and UK. Once that they understand, even though that they have some variations and strengths in one hand or another, they go and try to develop a good understanding of the value, that the core value, the direct and indirect value that they create for the customer. Direct value in terms of financial value, indirect value is another sort of value, such as, for example, facilitating, making life easier for the customer, warning them of things that are coming, optimizing things for them through the provision of services. Once that they have this good understanding, they can build up the relationship with the partner, with the customers, and they start to develop this with the aim of develop a partnership rather than just a solely transactional function or transactional activity between the customer and the employee. And finally, what this journey leads is that the sales force will have and bring through this continuous communication with the partner, uh, investigating and learning the strengths and limitations of their partner of their customers. They have to feed back into the service strategy journey. And this is one of the journeys, as I mentioned. They are five different journeys which are interconnected. But the importance of this is that you have to understand each one of the journeys and to see the elements and how they connect to the main service strategy feedback or the service strategy journey. Moving next, we have this small paper or this case study of comparing US with the UK premises in one single company with similar kind of services. We came out with three key recommendations. The first one is to consider the intention of buying or acquiring skills in the shift to services. We identify that, as I mentioned, we point out that US and Europe follow a different approaches. US will buy and acquire experts to speed up the, the relationship and speed up the sales process and learning process of the sales force, whereas the Europe and UK, they will try to broad or grow this skill in size. So it's a tension you might have to consider. You have to consider it. However, until this point of time, we don't have a right or wrong answer. We can put that there are two things. One thing is showing better results until this time, but we don't know if in future there will be a change. Recommendation number 2: set the right culture for you, the communications, the skills, and the customer approach, particularly in bringing together and make sales part of your journey. What we identified from this case and another cases is that the journey from the salesmen, they are the last people who get integrated into the sales, into the service journey. However, these are the most important people in the shift to services because this is the people who in a day to day know the customer problems. As one of our interviewees put it, their role sometimes it is being a consultant out there to identify and learn what the customer is having problem with and try to solve some of the problems of the customers. However, what we identified that in the shift to services, not too many companies involve the sales force earlier on. So ATIS is one of the different companies that is doing it very well. And they have this journey and they are integrating this journey to the main company shift to service journey. And the final recommendation is to understand the customer journey. It's not about the company journey or the salesman journey. It is about one single journey with multi dimensions here. You have to understand, first of all, the customer journey in order to accommodate and to better shape your company, Salesforce, service design journeys along with the value proposition that you wanted to create for the customer.